And we're live. Welcome to another Thursday night, and it's a Thursday night safety briefing with your pal and always they gone me. I'm they gone. You can always find me at they gone at 238 at Twitter, or you can obviously find me they gone at my channel here. So welcome. So once again, my name is they gone. I do Thursday night safety briefing. My safety briefing is what we used to do in the army for long weekends, or on Fridays before we would go on a long weekend, or in this case, it's just kind of I would like to do my show on Thursday. So here's your safety briefing for the weekend. As always, if you're gonna go swimming, make sure you go swim with a buddy. If it's raining out there, making sure it's thunder and lightning, you're not standing under the tree or you're gonna get hit by lightning. If you're going out there drinking out there this weekend or anytime soon, because there's some big Beaver games coming up, Beaver baseball's out there. Make sure you have a designated driver, and if you don't have a designated driver, I'll make sure you get a cab or call. If you're in the military, make sure you're contacting those platoon fire team leaders and those platoon sergeants and all those things like that, so that way they can kind of know what's going on, so you don't get in trouble. And if at any last resort, if you can't get a hold of a battle, you're a platoon sergeant or you're a fire team leader, make sure you're calling that CQ desk, because if you get in trouble a little bit, they'll give you some gruff about it, but it's safer to get home than to be in trouble with some cuffs. So there, as always, be a good person out there. If you see something, say something. Be a light for people. We're all good people out there. Do good things. So, as always, kind of this week, the theme that I'm kind of looking for is kind of be interested in something. Kind of when we're all going through the things in our life that kind of like hit us and the things we kind of go through, we have to kind of distract ourselves from those feelings, because we for me personally, it's like I almost get so used to having those certain feelings, like if you look at one of my last poems I did about survivor's guilt, it's true, that survivor's guilt is always there, always kind of in the corner for me. So I try to distract myself with different things to help me kind of get over those survivor guilt thoughts, and those kind of different, in the military we call them demons, those kind of things that kind of hang on to us. So anyway, well, appreciate it very much for joining the show. And like I said, if you guys have anything you guys want to share out, or you kind of want to go ahead and promote, let me know. We're not quite to that part of the show. We're still doing the kind of beginning. If you want to, if you go back a couple minutes ago, you'll do the safety briefing, and I'm just kind of doing the theme of the show. Once again, the kind of theme of that show is getting into something, being real passionate about something, kind of being able to distract you. If, like I always say, I'm the self-proclaimed G.I. Joe community poet. I do a lot of poems and whatnot because it distracts my mind. It breaks that chain of thinking for me when I start going down those darker paths, when I start in my mind. And so I write poems. If you've noticed in my poems, I use an ABBA style of writing, which is funny because that's a Swedish band. We all know ABBA. Yes, I do have the bobblehead. I'm going to share it off here pretty soon. Just be patient. So anyhow, like I said, I use the ABBA style of poetry writing. It's kind of making couplets. It's using in rhymes, using BBA style of writing. I use that style of writing in rhymes because as I'm writing them, I have to look up rhymes and different words to what I want to express, and it helps break that chain of thinking for me of going into too deep into things. Like I said, my show is about a 30-minute show. The first part's kind of once again, that safety briefing, and then I go into the theme. The theme of the show is being interested in stuff. That's why I want you guys out there to start sharing stuff with me, that your projects you guys are working on, or maybe a channel you have, or maybe some art, or maybe even some writing that you do, or something interesting. I know that the great folks at the great folks at the Red 5 Network, and especially the Always Sunny at Podcast, are great guys. They're always up to something. This last week, they've been looking at the Dark Horses Darth Maul series. They've been going through the books one by one. I believe they try to do a book a week or so. I'm not that familiar with the comic book side of things. I'm not an avid reader. If you know who I am, I'm not a big reader, but it's a pretty interesting series series, kind of learn the background of some of that canon that's out there. And I believe, as the folks on Always Sunny on Scared was saying, is that the Dark Horse it actually is part of Disney canon, even for whatever that's worth. Also, folks that are doing stuff out there, make sure you're tuning into the What's on Joe podcast. They do a podcast every week. It changes up sometimes, and sometimes their times change, but they've been doing it for the last 25 years or so. One of the longest lasting Joe talking about GI Joe related things that's been around. All as always, make sure you're tuning in to the GI Joe Bird crew. They got a lot going on. They just finished up one of their Chasing Joes. Ben of Ben Retro and Steve of GI Joe Bird fame review different comic books and stuff like that. This last one, I believe it's starting to introduce Tiger Force. So if you're into Tiger Force, those are kind of good ones to get into. So like I said, one of the things I wanted to talk about, like I said, one of the things that I'm passionate about is that writing. If you guys do like my poetry or writing, just like let me know. Or if you don't like it, let me know. I like that feedback from folks, so I can even get better. I know one of the things that I always tell people that I'm going to explain to them is why I airborne. I have an airborne red beret, so I wanted to show off this week, and then I'll get to the other things, and then like I said, then we'll probably wrap up the show. So like this is an airborne beret. This is actually the airborne beret that I wore while I was in the service. It is a raspberry beret, just like the Prince song. But on these berets are only worn by soldiers that are in airborne units. That doesn't necessarily mean they jump out of airplanes themselves, but you have to be an airborne unit to wear this beret, and vice versa. You could be trained to jump out of airplanes and not be an airborne unit and not be able to wear this beret. I was both. I was airborne qualified and did more than 5 jumps to train, and then obviously I had over about 30 jumps total while I was in the service. So one of the cool things about this is, if you want to know history, the reason why it's yellow and black, because that signifies the first special forces group that I was in, and the black ring around it signifies the death of President Kennedy. President Kennedy was the first president who brought back kind of the special forces, including the SEALs and things of that nature. And one of the things that the first special forces group obviously will always honor him with the kind of the black ring. If you look at the signal, the unit crest there, the flash there, you'll say it says Libo de l'Oppresso, which means kind of we are the liberators of the oppressed. That's what special forces units do. Obviously, once again, I wasn't a special forces guy. I wasn't a team guy. I was just a cook who jumped out of airplanes who was in the unit. That's how come I wore a red beret instead of like a green beret, and a Rangers tan beret, and then your normal infantry guys and your normal military people wear a black beret and things of that nature. So. Yeah, thank you. I really appreciate that, Adam. So like I said, let's get to the Sharon. We're about 7 minutes in, and so let's get to the Sharon. As I think Always Sunny on Scarif wants to see. They want to see the pop that I received. That's a great show. If you guys haven't checked out the Red 5 Network and their multiple partners of folks that watch the show, Cherry and Josh, if you guys know those folks from the Lizard Monkey Army. Those folks are really nice folks. Those got me introduced to the Red 5 Network, which got me introduced to the Always Sunny on Scarif podcast, which is a great podcast. They did a lot of things. They did a 24. They did an interview with Steve, one of the curators of Star Wars museums. It was really cool, and one of the head kind of prop preservers of the Star Wars series, which is really cool. You guys should really check that out. But let's get to it. Drum roll, please. So they got me the Andor in Prison pop. Awesome. I don't collect pops normally. I do have one other one, which is a Captain American gingerbread one, which is really cool. I'll have to show off that off one of these days. But they got me the Andor prison uniform pop. That's really cool. And Cassian Andor, he's in prison where he belongs, because I'm an imperialist. Ha 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 ha. Take that. Always Sunny on Scarif. It is Always Sunny on Scarif. So yeah, so that's what they got me. I'm really excited about that. They have a lot of great shows. Once again, I can't promote Red 5 Network enough. They do have a show tonight where they're showing off a lovely young lady's art and stuff. I don't know much about her. I just followed her today. Maybe I'll check that stream out stream out after this. After my do you mind once again? So that's what I got. Another thing I got from a great, lovely friend of mine, your pal and mine, is Byron. Byron of Joe Motion 86 fame. I got a complete fang from him. I need to get I have the my dog kept on biting the tail piece. I do have that piece. My dog kept on biting and running around the house with it, so I put it up somewhere so I gotta get that. But it also included all the missiles and all that great stuff. And he also included a complete, not a complete, but oh, what are these guys called? They are the something vipers. Somehow help me out, chat. What kind of vipers are these? They have the asymmetrical helmets. They're also featured in the book that Plastic Battles is doing, the European book. But yeah, people think this is always a silly figure because the idea he would have missiles and stuff attached to there. But it gives a lot of kids a lot of play value, and he does look cool as a pilot. But I'm actually going to be using, if you see some of my pictures, I am actually going to be using the helicopter pilot from the Mamba or whatever it is. That's what I'm going to be using for the pilot for this, because I bought one of those too. So another thing, awesome thing that I picked up, which I'm also really into, is I picked, and it might be a stun, it might be stunning that I got it. It's not complete, but it's got some, but it needs some love. But I'm gonna play with the heck out of it. But it is my icon of icons of Cobra vehicles. When I think of Cobra vehicles, yes, some people think of the Hiss, and then other people think of the Rattler, and those are awesome vehicles. Don't get me wrong, but when I think of Cobra vehicles, the icon of Cobra vehicles is gonna be the stun. That's right, baby. Be stunned by it. They gone finally picked him up a cheap enough stun at good price. Yeah, I need the flags, which are always missing, which are always hard to get. If you got a complete stun that has a flags, you're doing good. The seller did include these kind of fake flags on there. It did have the rear turret gun, but it was kind of broken. Which I knew this when I bought it. Don't get me wrong. The seller did a good job. I kind of broke it off, so I am going to be replacing that. So I'll be having to get that out of there and replace it with a new one. I'm not really care about original parts. I know some folks are. I'm not. So I'll be happy to buy reproductions or whatever. The stickers are okay. I would like some, especially on the Fang that I showed you. Some of the stickers that I got from my great friend Brian. I might get some repros for it, but as I said, I love getting it. He gave me a good price with it. Like, check out his channel too, Joe Motion 86 on YouTube. He's a great guy. And then, like I said, but once be stunned by the stun. Like I said, this is the icon of Cobra vehicles for me. I do already have a motor driver. I will be in the market of looking for some more motor drivers, but I also got this from Byron as well. And it wouldn't be a complete Zagon stream without an airborne Cobra or GI Joe unit. So this is like I believe a collector's edition or just kind of a parachute that I got from him for about how much was it? It was about $5 or so. And so he has a little parachute rig, and as you can see with the Motor Viper that I'm going to need more of to go with my awesome new stun and to go into my ASP, because I want to try to maybe jerry rig somehow where the stun can pull the ASP. I know the stun's supposed to be like more of a motorcycle vehicle, but to me, I think it could pull the ASP if it wanted to. So that's what I'm going to do. But anyway, so that's the parachute. It wouldn't be a thing on stream without a parachute. And once again, the Star Wars kind of thing. Once again, thanks again to Always Sunny at Scarif and the Red 5 Network for giving me that and/or Prison Pop. That's awesome. So here it is. Here's that once again if you didn't see it. And here's the other ones that were in that series. I guess the another Andor was, and his prison friend, and Luthen is in there, and then Marvin, that's his mother or grandmother that passed away at the start of that revolution. So that's really awesome. Once again, thanks to Red 5 Network and all they do in providing us all of that contact. If you are out there, once again, here's our promotion for them. They got me a little sticker with their stuff. The Scarif podcast, Always Sunny on Scarif. There you go. Should check that out. Check them out. It's worth a thing. As always, as traditions, we are going to open up a figure. This week we're going to go. I've tried to give away this figure multiple times. multiple times, and nobody wanted it. So we're gonna release Lady J. That's what we're gonna do. She's really dusty. I do have the other one that was original box that has the all the extra gear, but I'm gonna open the I guess the retro classified carded one. So we're gonna open it up, and then after that, we'll probably kind of wrap up the show, and then we'll kind of go from there. As always, they're not a sponsor of mine or anything like that, and none of these folks I'm talking about are either. I don't have any special ends with G.I. Joe Berg or anything like that. They're good folks and like promoting people. So, like I said, once again, if you got something you want me to promote, just let me know about it. I'm ripping the heck out of the card, but hey, that happens. It's like old school, real life stuff. So once again, if you guys want something just streaming, or you're doing a show, or you got some art, or you got some poetry, or you got some writing you like to do, just kind of let me know. Also, give me ideas about shows. I do have other lines that I collect. I don't have a lot of Exo Squad. Exo Squad's a great thing. Carson from 3D Joe's is a great. He collects Exo Squad as well. He has a lot of great Kickstarters going still. He's still doing the G.I. Joe, the Return to Duty guys, but he also got some books. And he's also promoting his dad. His dad has lived a very interesting life, so you should check that out. So, once again, if you go on to What's on Joe Mind, you'll see a prior episode with him on it. And you know what? That's funny because on What's on Joe Mind episode, I kind of enjoy Phil Donnelly on it, and I also miss the redheaded one, the guy who lives in Oregon as well. He has his own show now. He does the fantasy baseball, and I can't remember his name, but he's a really good guy. And of course, we also miss Joe too, but she has a busy life. She has children and all that now. So, not to spill the beans of other people's lives or anything. So once again, I'm kind of getting her out of her plastic shell. She's free. She can breathe that air. So excuse that crinkling. I apologize about that. So like I said, once again in the chat, if you guys have any problems, questions, concerns, ideas for shows, or like I said, I want my show to be really interactive. I can always come up with things I want to talk about, just like I do at the beginning of the show, about finding that interest in life that you're into, that distracts you from those things that you don't, not that you don't want to think about. You have to face those things that you're thinking about, but you can break that cycle of thinking. You can change the way that you have, like, think about those memories, I suppose. I'm really trying. I always have to every day try to remember, okay, I have to remember that things I can't control or anything. Everything's can't. I can't control anything I did. I can only do what I can do. So. And I lost a part, so maybe Hazel will eat it later. But hey, that always happens. I think it was the extra part that came with these ones that was kind of, I don't know. I'm not sure which part it was, but I'll find it sometime. Yeah, it wouldn't, like I said, once again, it wouldn't be a They Gone show if he didn't lose something as he's unopening things. I really should open it on a tray or something. But once again, it's a loose figure. I still have a boxed one, and I'm pretty sure I can probably find these on the shelves somewhere. Or on, oh no, she lost her hair. Oh my God. Oh, she's bald. Look at that. Oh, poor little J. Anyway. A little craziness for the end of the stream. Like I said, I got about 10 minutes or so left. So if you guys have anything you want to talk about, chat, any ideas, any topics or anything, just let me know. She comes with her famous camera, just like the OG one. I do have an OG one somewhere up there, but once again, if I prepared for my streams a little bit better, I would probably know where it was. But I didn't prepare my stream, so that's what you get. You get what you pay for, and with me, that's a real low price. So, and they came with those futuristic guns that were that were like Nerf guns or something to that effect. And I don't want to put it in her hand because I'm lazy. And then, of course, she comes with her spear. Her famous spear that had a net, had an explosive one, I believe, and maybe some other ones. I'm not like an expert. I've never said I was an expert or anything. So. Yeah, so there you go. Okay, cool. There's your updated Lady J. Some folks were upset about the face model. I don't know. I don't believe it was that bad. I mean, I don't know. I think with the new technology they have now with the newer figures, they'll get better. But like I said, it's a pretty cool figure. I'm surprised that nobody entered in my little contest. I'm not complaining about it, but entered my contests to win her. So, well, I guess I lucked out in the end. So anyway, I'm kind of wrapping up. I know it's a short one tonight. I'm dealing with a lot of stuff, trying to unwind a lot of my mind and stuff like that. That's why you guys seen a lot of more poetry from me lately. I've been writing a lot of stuff, been getting busy. I need to get busy back at work and get refocused. So I kind of took today to do that. So, oh, I got her little pistol in her hand. Like I said, it's kind of, I don't know what the extra it bits on the end was for. Does anybody know? Does it shoot her thing? Does this go in there? Does it really? Oh, it shoots her. It shoots her. It shoots the. It's like it becomes a spear gun instead of just her throwing the spears. That's what it is. Crusader. Oh, hey, what's up? Of course, Vern's here. I appreciate Vern. I'm just kind of wrapping things up. I know it's my streams aren't very long, but that's the way to go. If you do watch it, you can go back to the vid again. I did show off an awesome stun that I got. It's missing some parts, obviously missing the flags, and I need to get the machine gun back on the tail gunner on there. And I want to fashion some way that you can pull the asp. Another thing I kind of got to was a parachute rig kit, because I always have to get a parachute rig kit. And I've had this Motor Viper forever. So, but he'll go back. He'll be piloting in my my stun. And then obviously, of course, once again, thanks to Always Sunny on Scare Podcast, I wanted Andor Pop, which is awesome. I know you're doing a lot of stuff coming up. If you guys don't know, hey, Vern always does his toy duo on Saturdays, and he also has he just did a kind of a review and a look at kind of the Pulses review, or GI Joe, kind of GI Joe June, what's been released for GI Joe lately. I know Buddha is going to be an awesome one. People like Slice and Dice, which I understand. I'm not a big Slice and Dice fan, but I'm a big Buddha fan. I do have the OG one. Once again, if I prepare for streams, I would obviously have all these things out. Once again, I unboxed a Lady J, because I tried to give this Lady J away several times, but nobody wanted her. So nobody wanted to enter my contest to win her. So I guess the winner was me. Yeah. So once again, if you guys have stuff coming up, you have projects, you have art you do, just let me know. I'll link it. Once I get better at this computer stuff, obviously, I'll probably bring up maybe do screen share like Vern does and all that kind of stuff. And I'm still looking for kind of a co-host. If Thursdays at 6 doesn't work for you, especially in the summertime, I can be flexible. But it is what it is. I can go solo for so long. So me and Lady J, we're gonna have a good night. We're gonna have some Hawaiian delight tonight. Obviously, maybe we'll find that lost shaker of soul. So I'm gonna wrap it up for tonight. Once again, I appreciate everybody stopping by. Hey Vern, Adam, and everybody else stopping by, and Crusader stopping by. I really appreciate that. As always. Stay safe, and you can't, keep careful, and be a good person out there. You are a good person. You matter. If you need help, kind of read my poem about being an airborne soldier. You gotta take those updrafts. You gotta pull those risers, direct yourself, and soften yourself for the fall. We've all been there. It's call out. So we're all, you're worth calling out for. You're worth a phone call. You're worth me answering a DM for, or anything like that. So once again, as always, stay safe, and you can't, keep careful, and we'll see you on this other side, and we'll see you next Thursday for your safety brief. Check that box. I'm looking at you guys. I'm looking at you guys who did come in the chat this week. You need to check that box. All right, stay safe. You can't, keep careful, and have a good one. All right, bye.